Chapter 37. Everyone here is rubbish. This new model of aircraft was very spacious, and it felt as you were walking into a normal building when you entered. This time, Xingyao City dispatched a total of 40 soldiers. Each team had 10 people, and they were divided into 4 teams. Almost all of these soldiers were rank 1 warriors, and there were several rank 2 warriors, while the 4 instructors leading each team were high-ranking warriors. Guangming Fort was quite far from Xingyao City. There was a huge training ground and many training facilities in the aircraft, and many soldiers had begun to train there. "Hey, are you a student of Xingyao City?" Lin Xiu was sitting at the training ground at this moment and was using the cultivation technique to absorb source energy when a soldier came to speak to him. Instead of answering his question, Lin Xiu continued to cultivate cross-legged. The man frowned, then reached out and tried to push Lin Xiu. Lin Xiu opened his eyes instantly and grabbed the man's wrist with his right hand. "What are you trying to do?" Lin Xiu's eyes were so cold that the man was startled. "I just wanted to have a chat with you." "I don't have any malicious intentions." The man smiled and said, but he was secretly surprised. Lin Xiu's reaction speed just now was really quick, and the strength of his arm wasn't weak either. He was really a high school student. "My name is Lin Yi. I graduated from Jingyao Academy too," the man said with a smile. "Okay," Lin Xiu nodded. "Why are you here with us?" Lin Yi asked, a little puzzled. For someone who hadn't become an official warrior, wasn't he courting by going to Guangming Fort with them? "It's what the academy required," Lin Xiu said helplessly. This person was a little too friendly, wasn't he? "Academy? There is such a rule at Xingyao Academy now?" Li Yi was surprised. "Li, what are you still doing with that boy? If you don't train well, you die over there later." Then another strong soldier stood up in front of Lin Xiu and Li Yi and said with a big smile, "Huh." Li Yi glared at him, and it was clear that he and the man weren't on good terms. "Little friend, what the hell are you carrying?" He looked over to Lin Xiu and suddenly noticed the long wooden box next to Lin Xiu. Then he reached out to get it. "Jin Hai, don't touch other people's things," Li Yi said in a cold voice. "So what if I did?" Jin Hai had a look of disdain but did not stop his hands. But Lin Xiu's right hand pressed onto the wooden box, and no matter how hard Jin Hai tried to move it, he simply couldn't. "Boy, you're very crazy, huh?" Jin Hai felt embarrassed as he looked at Lin Xiu nastily. "Haha, so is that boy just now, huh?" Jin Hai, "Look at what's in the wooden box." The rest of the soldiers also came over at this moment, as they just had warm-up training. Their shirts were off, revealing their upper body with only a black vest on. "Don't go too deep," Li Yi spoke at this moment. "Get lost, Jin Jai." Jin Hai snorted, pushing Li Yi away, and tried to forcefully take Lin Xiu's wooden box. "Do you really want to see it?" Lin Xiu narrowed his eyes and asked. "Don't talk so much nonsense." Jin Hai pulled hard with both hands and managed to snatch the wooden box. But just holding the long wooden box with his hands, he found it was very heavy and nearly pressed his hand to the ground. Meanwhile, Lin Xiu's hand moved and the wooden box opened. Jin Hai hadn't come to his senses yet and saw a flash of cold light. Lin Xiu seemed to have taken something out of the wooden box. He felt a sharp pain on his neck as a silver long spear tip pressed against his neck. Silver immortal soul wants to see blood when it comes out, Lin Xiu said plainly. You. Jin Hai's expression became fearful at this moment, and with the tip of the spear on his neck, he could feel the sharpness of it. Although there was only a trace of blood of his scratched skin, he felt that if Lin Xiu wanted to kill him just now, he would already be dead. Is this a rank 1 warrior? Seriously. Lin Xiu shook his head and looked disappointed. Boy, say that again if you dare. Lin Xiu's words angered all other soldiers, and a group of soldiers surrounded him. Hey, apologize, right now. Li saw this scene and could not help but have goosebumps as he whispered to Lin Xiu. Lin Xiu nodded and said to the crowd, I'm sorry. Do you think sorry is enough? The silver immortal soul had left his neck, and Jin Hai heaved a sigh of relief as his face turned sinister. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't finished. What I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry I wasn't targeting you. I was saying that everyone here is rubbish. Lin Xiu glanced at the people around him and said indifferently, Courting death. Jin Hai's expression changed drastically when he heard this. Then he threw a punch towards Lin Xiu's body. Lin Xiu did not dodge, but also directly threw a punch over. Bang! Under the collision of the two fists, it wasn't Lin Xiu who bounced off, but Jin Hai, the official warrior. How is that possible? Li was appalled at this time. He was as shocked as the rest of the soldiers. Jin Hai, are you alright? A soldier helped Jin Hai up and said out loud. Jin Hai shook his head and stared ferociously at Lin Xiu. What the hell happened to that punch? He felt as if the bones in his whole arm had been broken. No injury could be seen on the outside, but the pain inside was unbearable. This boy is too crazy. Let's attack him together and teach him a lesson. One of the soldiers shouted at this moment, but as soon as he said that, he found that everyone around him stood still and didn't dare to move. What's the matter? Bullying a newcomer? Qing Qiang said in a cold voice as he walked over. Sir, it was this boy who knocked Jin Hai on the ground first, a soldier said. Qing Qiang walked up to him, then looked at him and said, A warrior was knocked down by a high school student, and you still have the cheek to speak?